Welcome, Wildcats, to Week 10, Social Psychology. So we're going to continue talking about attitudes this week and move forward with our attitude formation, attitude change, to moving into what we talked about last week with stereotyping, and you got to do the fun activity, right? It was fun. And we're going to move from stereotyping and to prejudice, right? And discrimination. And then next week we'll talk about how stereotyping is related to prejudice and discrimination, and certainly what happens to groups that are stereotyped and stigmatized, right? So, but as I said, this week we're going to begin with just talking a little bit more about definitions and what the difference is between prejudice and discrimination. So we talked about attitude as being a positive or negative evaluation, a posture of the mind, right? Of an event, an object, a situation. So when you have a negative, because we said it's a positive and negative evaluation, right? So when you have a negative attitude toward people, simply because they belong to that group, that prototype, that they fit into that categorization with social cognition we talked about. So if someone fits into that group, then automatically you have a negative attitude towards them. That's prejudice. It's not actually a behavior, right? It's an attitude. It's an aversion. It's a negative posture of the mind towards this group of people. So that is the definition of prejudice, just in case you were curious. And if someone has been prejudicial to you because you belong to that group, they don't even know you, but just because you belong to that group, they might not like you, right? They have a negative evaluation. Being Jewish, right? Someone could just have a negative evaluation. They don't even meet me, but they already have a stereotype. Again, sexual orientation. Before they meet you, they just believe you're this way or that way. And certainly, if you are wearing a certain race and they can see it by the physical color of your skin, they automatically have a negative attitude towards you. So that's prejudice. So then what is discrimination? Well, discrimination is not an attitude, it's a behavior. So it takes it one step further. And that's why we were looking at when do attitudes predict behavior. So a negative action towards members of a specific social group, just because they're in that group. So that's discrimination, a behavior. So I don't, maybe I'm a realtor, and there's homes in I don't know, Boca Raton, and you're an African American man, and I'm a realtor, and I go, oh, they probably don't want to live in that place, and I just have a negative attitude. But then when you ask me to see homes, and I say, we don't have any homes in Boca, I can't take you there, I won't show you. That's a negative behavior. That's actually discriminative behavior. So you can see there's definitely a difference between the two. So we have emotions that lead to different behaviors. You have an emotion. If you have anger and contempt against a certain group that you don't like, you'll move towards them, right? If you have fear of them, you'll move away. So it depends on what your attitude is, right? Interesting. If you have contempt and anger, you move towards. Fear and disgust leads to movement away. And next week, as I said, we're going to talk about how is stereotype related to prejudice and discrimination. So keep reading, right? And keep looking at some of the videos, explore. I gave you my dissertation to take a look at, as I did attitude change, was the focus topic, right? So you can certainly do some reading if you're bored, right? Educational interventions to reduce homophobia on a college campus. Have fun. See you next week.